Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Can Do Entertainment Presents May the Force Be With Who. Now today is going to be my review of The Mummy. Now Universal has kicked off their Dark Universe slate of films with the remake of The Mummy starring Tom Cruise as a kind of a rogue American soldier who's out to gain antiquities and sell them on the black market. Stars Sophia Boutella, who you might know from Kingsman, is the chick with the knives on her legs, and she was also in Star Trek Beyond as I think it was Kayla or something like that, and she was really good in that. She stars as in the title role of the Mummy. It's also got Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde, and here we go. I want to say this is a great movie, but I would be lying because it's not. There is a lot of exposition in this movie, and I mean loads and loads and tons of it. You have the flashback scene where Omnet, which is the character of the Mummy, who becomes the Mummy anyway, Sophia Boutella's character, we get the whole flashback of, you know, what she did, the crime she committed, and to be cursed and to be made a mummy. So we see that. Then, you know, we get the whole introduction with Tom Cruise and Jake Johnson, who plays his sidekick, Vale, and uncovering Omnet's tomb. And I guess we want to get into what one of the real problems with this movie is, or problem I had with this movie, is that Tom Cruise's character, Nick Morton, is not very likable at all. Tom Cruise has kind of had a history of playing kind of a charming, kind of smart ass. If you want to go all the way back to Maverick and Top Gun, or the lawyer character he played in A Few Good Men as a couple of very good examples of when, you know, his charm and charisma is working. In this movie, not so much. He just comes off as kind of a selfish, you know, he's out for the money, he's, you know, out for himself, and it's kind of un-Tom Cruise-like if you really want to break it down. The effects in the movie are okay. The scares, because, you know, this is based on Universal's kind of House of Horror. They're monsters, and this whole universe is supposed to be set up on, okay, we've got, you know, we're starting off with the Mummy, and then they've cast Javier Bardem as Frankenstein. We've got Johnny Depp coming as the Invisible Man, and as I mentioned earlier, we've got Russell Crowe playing Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde. And they're banking a whole lot on this movie kind of kicking off their shared universe, kind of like Iron Man did in 2008 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's just okay. Like I said, there is a lot of exposition, and at times it kind of drags the movie down, or it's kind of like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. When there is action, it's not bad. I mean, it's not anything to write home about, but it's okay. Sophia Boutella kills it as Omnet / the Mummy. She does have some menace to her, and there are jump scares, and there kind of some creepy stuff. But as far as, you know, this is based on the classic horror, Universal horror movies and monsters. It's not too scary. Maybe, you know, young kids, younglings, whatever, might find it more terrifying, but it comes off as more of kind of an action thriller than it does a horror movie, or the first movie you're basing your whole dark universe around. Now, I want to get to some positives because I'm not bashing the film. I enjoyed it. It was okay, but Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde was really good. He's not in it near enough, and there's an awesome fight scene with Tom Cruise's character and Russell Crowe's well, it's Mr. Hyde, and it's been in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Basically, after Tom Cruise's character, Nick Morton, unearths the Mummy, she curses him and wants to use him as the vessel to bring the Egyptian god of death, Set, to life, like kill Tom Cruise, and Set takes possession of his body. And that's kind of, you know, the Mummy it's like a cat and mouse game between Tom Cruise and Jenny, his female companion, who's also an archaeologist, who works for the Pardium, I think I want to pronounce that right, which is the organization that Russell Crowe is representing as they're trying to find a way to combat evil in the world. And I know this sounds like a big complicated mess. It's really not. It's easy to follow, but like I said, they explain this, they explain that, they explain this. It's just exposition upon exposition upon exposition. The effects were good. I'm kind of glad that Jake Johnson's character Vale wasn't around a whole lot, because he really probably would have got very aggravating after a while. Annabelle Wallace, I believe is her name, played Jenny, and she was all right as the female lead of the film, the damsel in distress. But the strength of the film is Sophia Boutella as the Mummy and Russell Crowe as Jekyll and Hyde. And I didn't stick around to see if there were any after credit scenes to set up the next movie. I know they're talking about maybe doing Bride of Frankenstein next, and they've not cast that yet. But it was just okay. I'm not going to dog the movie. It was an okay time. I took my brother-in-law, who's recovering well from his brain tumor surgery, so he agreed with me. It's just okay. It's if you're not dying to go see this movie, I would go see Wonder Woman again or Guardians of the Galaxy again, because it's just average. It's good, but it's not. I was hoping for something better. You probably would be better off watching the old Brendan Fraser movies again. Which, speaking of, there are Easter eggs throughout the movie, if you know how to look for them. There's a cool little Easter egg with the Book of the Dead, I believe, from the Brendan Fraser mummy movies. We see a vampire skull. So, eventually, if this dark universe is a success, they are planning on doing Dracula. They were going to try to shoehorn the Dracula Untold movie from a few years ago with Luke Evans into this monsters universe, but it kind of bombed. So they're like, well, no, let's just forget about that, and we'll kick it off with The Mummy. So they've kicked it off with The Mummy. And it's me. I'm going to give it a 6. And I think I might be being a little generous with giving it a 6. But yeah, that's really all I got to say about The Mummy. Personal note, the band has got a return engagement tonight. It was a surprise. We're going back to the Dugout in Hendersonville. So if you're local to Western North Carolina, come and see us out of the Dugout, 9 p.m. And you can also find the band League of Fools on our YouTube channel, which is League of Fools. And you can also find us on our Facebook page, which is League of Fools Band. All right, I'm out. 47 Meters, I think, is the only big movie coming out next week. The shark movie with Mandy Moore and some other chick and Matthew Modine. And I just don't know, because shark movies outside of Jaws have really sucked, The Shallows notwithstanding. So I don't know if I'm going to bother even going to see that to do a review. I know I still need to get the Doctor Who Monk group of episodes reviewed, as well as, the Blind Doctor / the Monks. And I am going to get to that. I had some trouble with my Sling TV account, so it took me a while to finally see last week's episode. And I know tonight is the Empress of Mars, and I'm going to miss that because I'm going to be out making some noise with the League of Fools. So, yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll have the 4-episode review of Doctor Who up, and then as soon as I can get to it on my Sling TV, I will do Empress of Mars. And that is going to do it. So until next time, keep on keeping on, and may the Force be with who.